Hello, welcome to Holistically Speaking. I am Morella DeVoe, your host. Our mission with Holistically Speaking is to be the avenue through which the voices of holistic health reach you at the time you need it most. And that voice today is Dr. Julieta Rushford, who joins us to talk about finding your roar. And I'm really curious to ask her what that's all about. So welcome, Julieta.
Gracias.
Thank you so much for joining me, fellow Latin American. It's been so fun to kind of prep for the show in Spanish because it doesn't happen so often. So I'd love to start off right there asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself, because I think that that background, that heritage is an important part of who you are. Am I right?
Yes. So I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I'm Hispanic, and I left at 17. I went to University of Massachusetts, Amherst. I got my bachelor's in science. And then I got my doctorate in chiropractic at the University of, Life University, Marietta, Georgia. And then I moved to Vermont, where my husband's from. I've been here for 20 years.
For 20 years, a Vermonter. And your husband is also a chiropractor,
Dr.
right?
Matt Rushford, yes.
So you have a joint chiropractic clinic?
We have been working together for a long time, and now we're developing our own expression. I'm working mostly with the holistic population, holistic chiropractic, and he's working more with pregnant women and children.
Okay. So I want to ask you a little bit about your approach to chiropractic, because even as you just said, you're doing what you call a holistic form of chiropractic, and I know in speaking with you that you don't do chiropractic like everybody might be thinking of what chiropractic is. So can you tell us what your approach is about?
So one of the things that I find is that when I have a client or a person who's curious about chiropractic, I have to, what I call, uneducate them on what they think I do.
Yeah.
So there's this big idea of chiropractic put out by marketing and, experiences and movies. And it's not true for all chiropractors. There's different styles. So the approach I use is I'm calling holistic chiropractic. So I see people as a whole. So I don't see them for their pain. I don't try to eliminate their pain. I don't try to cure anything. I see them as a whole, and I approach them that way. And that does not invalidate the other chiropractic approaches. I send people all the time to Dr. Susie Harris, who does nutrition, Dr. Hayes Muma, who does joints. I don't do that work. Go see them.
Right.
But the people who I attract are people who are in a personal journey, looking to find more peace, more balance, more joy in their lives, recognizing that something is off.
Yeah.
And my adjustments and the way I approach the spine helps people reconnect with that inner power. And this is why I'm calling it Finding Your Roar, because my intent is to help people reclaim their doctor's bag and become the powerful healer that they are.
Okay.
Because we have been taught that our bodies are stupid, they're not smart, they need help, they need outside in.
That they need fixing.
Yes. And I don't see it that way. I see it that you have within you everything that you need right now to be complete and whole. I just help you connect with it and tap into it.
Yeah. And so going back a little bit to the traditional view of chiropractic, or what someone might think of, when thinking of a chiropractor, say, oh, my neck is hurting or my back's hurting, and that's when I look for a chiropractor. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the person maybe watching at home and saying, okay, so if she's telling me that that's not what I need to go see her for, then how do I know that I need to go see her?
Well, I may not be a good match for everybody. And that's why I do little discovery sessions to see if we're a match, because I want to deliver what I promise, and I want the person to know what I'm delivering. So I have two examples.
Yeah.
One example is somebody came in with a lot of pain the other day in their neck. And we tell them, we recognize that you're in pain.
Yeah.
And our intent is to assist your nervous system in releasing stored stress and finding ways to heal it. Now, sometimes the pain goes away, sometimes it doesn't. That's an important distinction. Through this process, this person has realized that the amount of stress in his life is phenomenal. And he can see how the neck pain is not the problem.
Right.
The problem is the overwhelmed stress that he's around. So we're helping his body kind of heal from inside out and not necessarily be an aspirant for his neck pain. I want him to grow personally if he's open to it.
Yeah.
And that way he can take this change and bring it to his family and to the community.
Yeah. And so when you say finding your roar, I'm hearing maybe a couple different interpretations of that roar, where you said the body has everything it needs to heal, right? So it's like maybe your physical roar and that vigor, right? And then is it also that roar of, because you were talking about people maybe not feeling super happy or like something's off. So is that also kind of a dimension of it? The spiritual, emotional, I don't know.
And I like that second version more.
Okay.
Yes, that's more of my intent. My intent is to empower and inspire people to find within themselves the ability to heal, to be more complete, to find more peace, and then bring it from the inside out, because it's all inside. People already know. I had a patient the other day. She came in and she said, I said, how you doing? Her husband has cancer and she's taking care of everything, right? And she says, well, I'm taking care of everybody but not me, right? So I'm like, well, thank you for coming. She laid down, I adjusted her, and then I jokingly wrote, okay, these are your doctor's orders. You need to go to a spa. I said, I'm gonna check on you, and if you don't, you're gonna be in trouble. And the funny thing is that she says, well, I knew I needed that. I'm like, you see, you knew it already.
Right.
So why didn't you do it? So I want to help people make their choices that they already know are better for them.
Right.
From a point of a little bit more empowerment and voice, and roar.
And I have to repeat the words that you just used, and it's funny because I heard you voice my own life purpose, because literally you said, I want to inspire and empower people to realize that they can really heal themselves, that they can be happy, that they can be living vibrant lives. And those are exactly the words that are my foundation for this show, for my work.
And I think that's because you're a healer too. And your mode of healing is different than mine, but we both have the same intent.
Right.
So I think that most healers have as an intent to assist people in their healing journey. I do it with my hands.
Right.
I do it by touching somebody's spine and knowing where to go and helping unlock stuck areas so that the healing power inside can take over.
Right.
You do it by inspiring people through your show.
Yeah. And so we're starting to get this vision that your best work, your juiciest work is with people where they're, kind of stuck. Maybe they have some physical discomfort, but things aren't quite right, and they come to see you. And then it seems that your chiropractic practice is not the classic, crack your neck kind of a practice. So can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like?
Yes, but I also want to say that most of the people who come see me have no symptoms.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to repeat that.
Okay.
Most people that see me have no symptoms.
Yeah.
They want more wellness, more balance. They just know somewhere in there that their brains are important, and then their nervous systems are important, and they just want to take care of it.
Yeah.
So the way I approach the spine is I recognize that the brain is the master controlling system of the body, controls every function.
Yeah.
It connects to every cell of the body through the spine. And if the spine is misaligned in any way, it's going to interfere, block, interrupt that ongoing system of messages from the brain to the body, from the body back to the brain. So many chiropractors come and pop the bone back in place, and that helps a lot of people all the time. It's fine, it's very valid. Now I say, but wait a second. If the body is smart, which is my major premise, your body is smart, then how can I help your body find ways to self-adjust?
Yeah.
And that is empowering for people to know that they have within themselves an opportunity to learn how to self-correct on their own without me. And of course, it takes a process. So I have to train them. I have to help their bodies remember how to self-adjust.
Right.
So I take gentle contacts in specific areas of the spine, and the body kind of starts participating more and more. So I see both populations. I see people in pain. I see people not in pain. And if they are in alignment with true healing, they'll see me.
Yeah.
And if they want a quick fix, I'm not the right person.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's interesting. Just this week, and you use the word alignment, which is a classic word in chiropractic, right, of having proper alignment. But I just want to share a quote with you that I read this week from Abraham Hicks, you know.
I do him every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And there was, I'm just paraphrasing, but the statement was, when there's alignment, the physical body is at perfect ease. And of course, is the alignment, you know, with your purpose, with your serenity, with your, you know, kind of peace. And so I'm hearing you say the same thing. That
with the spine, alignment, and this is why my work can have such profound effects, is that as the spine is more aligned, it allows for alignment within themselves, with relationships, with money, which is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you later from this woman, Heal Your Wallet, Danielle Rivalara. And it assists from the body perspective to open up mental, spiritual aspects too.
Right. So maybe let's just kind of open a pocket here, because this is such a huge curiosity of mine. We had Danielle on the show a few weeks ago, and she was talking about her work in helping people with their money and their money issues and planning and all of that. And she said, and I partner with Julieta, and she uses chiropractic and her healing to help people with their money issues. Like, well, that's something that most of us have certainly not heard of.
Right.
You know, visiting a chiropractor for our money issues. So can you tell us a little bit about what that's like?
Yes, and I will clarify this, okay? So the idea that Danielle was sharing was that within the topic of money, there's a lot of blockages, emotional blockages. So when I took her seminar for my own benefit, I said, wait a second, if it has to do with the body, I'm really good at that and I can help. So we started collaborating and working together, and realizing that as you address money blockages in your body, it helps open up for the energy of money to come in.
Right.
Because if it's an emotion, if people feel worthless and they don't let it in because they feel worthless, they feel scarcity, angry,
or
anxious,
anxious.
all those are emotions, no different than feeling anxious for job or any other reason.
Right.
And if it is an emotion like that, it's in your body. It's, you know, it lives in a part of the brain called the limbic system, and et cetera, et cetera. So it is a neurological, chemical event that's very tangible in the body. Now that I can help with, and I can help with the use of essential oils and chiropractic, and actually affirmations as well.
Interesting. And so, of course, it's now making perfect sense, because I think there's a growing shared awareness that, or shared understanding that all of our emotional experiences really do take place physiologically in the body, and they're, if not processed, they get stored in the body, stuck in the body. And so this is how you use chiropractic to help move those stuck emotional patterns, or is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, we in this society, we have been taught that emotions and thoughts are kind of intangibles and kind of woo-woo and not valid. And it's not true. There's an emergent science, neuroscience, and we are learning more and more about the physical expression of emotions, the tangible, which is what this culture needs to see, is we'll show it to me. So then we're showing them, and realizing that there's a physicality to these abstracts of thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, they're happening somewhere in your body. You're feeling them. There's happening somewhere in this physicality, right?
Right. Yeah. So, and if it's pertaining to the body and the nervous system controls the body, then as the nervous system becomes more at ease, then healing can happen in many areas.
Yeah.
So that's the big idea.
So you're using light touch chiropractic. So do you want to describe a little bit what that's like for our viewers who may not know exactly what you mean?
So there's different styles of chiropractic. No different than different styles of massage, right? Some are deep and some are light. And in chiropractic, there's many, many different techniques, and they all help in their own way. What I do is I take very specific contacts. So it's kind of like a computer. So you have a keyboard, and if you press enter, something different happens than if I press 1. Right? And if I put a sequence of letters very softly, I don't have to shake the computer or pop it.
Yeah.
I'm just entering very specific, organized information, and then the circuitry, the system does something with it. That's programming, right?
Right.
And then I am assisting the electrical circuits of the nervous system to dissipate stored stress, number one. And number two, adapt better to stress with a more fluid, flexible nervous system.
And you do it by gently touching
Specific areas of the spine. So it feels like turning on a light switch. That's how it's just a few ounces of pressure.
Yeah.
Can I move a bone? Yes. Do I still do it? Yes.
Yeah.
I can do it too. It's just not the bulk of my work. Sometimes I need to get in there and help the person kind of move that last part.
Right.
But I don't do it often.
Yeah.
Because I want the person to find a way to do it. I have people who leave my office and they say, I was bending over the other day and tying my shoes and my spine went cluck, 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 cluck. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, that's what we're talking about, is your body releasing stress and learning how to self-adjust.
Yeah. And I think that's really helpful because many people would think of chiropractic as the classic, you know, like I said, kind of pop your head, and you know, and people have a lot of anxiety about that.
Some people love it, and some people have anxiety around it, and that's why we can complement each other in my profession.
Right.
You know, some people get great benefit from that. I have Dr. Laura Ramirez does fabulous work. I'd send people her way, and she will pop anything. She can move anything. And it serves a population. I choose to practice this other way.
Right.
Because in my paradigm and in my approach, I prefer it in terms of the understanding of the nervous system. And I like to attract people who want to participate more. I don't like to do things for people.
Yeah.
So I want them to develop strategies. At some point, I tell the person, listen, ultimately, it's just you with you. It's you with you. You can't carry me around with you all the time.
Right, right.
So you need to develop those strategies from within for your own healing when you're not here.
Yeah.
I liked it. It
Yeah.
brings me joy.
And that's, you know, I find increasingly that the more joyful that you are as a practitioner, the better your work. So you must be in your,
I love what I do.
in your sweet spot. So you also mentioned essential oils and affirmations. So can you tell us a little bit about why essential oils? What's their place and how do you use them?
There's a technique called releasing emotional patterns with essential oils created by a chiropractor in California. And when I first got introduced to it, I rolled my eyes and I went, here we go, another new agey thing, right? And then I said, fine, I'll try it. And the changes were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what happens is that then the limbic system, which is where we store emotions and memories, is very closely linked to the olfactory system. So as you trigger the olfactory bulb by inhaling a pure therapeutic grade essential oil, it goes to that part of the brain where emotions and memories are stored. So it starts kind of diffusing that a little bit. Affirmations are also important because this is the whole power of visualization, is that as you hold something in your mind of what you want to manifest, your nervous system is starting to make space for it. So it's called mental rehearsal, where as you imagine something, and there was a study done, I'll illustrate this, that took 3 groups of people playing the piano. One group played specific notes. The other group did not touch the piano, they just imagined playing the notes. And the other group played random notes, whatever they wanted. And the brain scans of the first 2 groups, the one who played the specific notes and the one that imagined it, were identical. So your brain cannot necessarily tell the difference between what's imagining and what's real. And this is why somebody like a gymnast would practice her whole routine before going on to the mat. Because they're practicing, and it's important. There's a neuronal connections happening as you imagine something. And affirmations can help diffuse old patterns and create new ones.
And that's a really interesting point that you're making, because I think that it's become pretty accepted that in sports performance that mental rehearsing makes a significant difference. And so we accept it as fact there, but we don't really take it in for ourselves, that we should be mentally rehearsing the outcomes that we want to see. That if you're going to do a presentation or have an important conversation or a meeting or whatever it is, you know, getting, you know, manifesting more money or whatever, getting in that habit of mentally rehearsing or creating the affirmations. Now, some people dislike affirmations. They say, some people say affirmations don't work. And what?
That's an affirmation right there.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point.
Right.
But even some of the people, you know, training in visualization or whatever, they actually diss affirmations on their own. So how do you?
If it doesn't work for them, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to convince people. People have their own truth.
Right.
And it's not my job to change them. If they're open, I'll play with the person, totally.
Right.
And I'll explore and I'll share my knowledge and I'll give them resources
Right.
and research. But if they've already made their mind, then that's their answer. It's okay.
Right.
I disagree with it, but...
Yeah. So going back to the essential oils, because it's a field that I'm very curious about. So are there specific oils, let's say if we took like anxiety, for example, stress or anxiety, are there very specific oils that you would use for anxiety and
I don't treat
stress,
symptoms.
Okay, so tell me
Remember
more.
that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
tell me more, how does that work then?
So I will tell you what I would do with a patient, all right? Let's say somebody comes to me and she says, I want to work with the essential oils. I'm like, great. The first thing I do is I clear their nervous system with an adjustment. After that, I will muscle test to see, is there an emotion that the body's ready to let go of at this moment? And then out of a list of 350, then it will come up. Like, for example, it will come up that it's, let's say anxiety does come up. Now, I'm following a chart at this point that says, this would be the emotion, this would be the oil, that this is the work created by Dr. Carolyn Mine.
Yeah.
This would be the affirmation the person would say. And this would be the place in the body where the person puts it on.
Okay.
All right? So I'm following a pre-made chart now. I did not diagnose the person that they had anxiety. I did not really ask the person. I just asked their body.
Right.
Phenomenal results.
Right. And so I would love to hear a story or two of how this all comes together, and you know, if you have some stories that you can share with us.
Well, I have 20 years of stories.
So you may have a few stories.
And I will share one that stands out from yesterday. This woman came in. I've been working with her for about 8 months. So most of my patients have been with me for 15 years or more. And she said that after her adjustment, she felt some anxiety, actually. Funny we're talking about that. And she pulled over, she was driving, and she shared with me that even if this came up, she was able to be in the moment in a more empowered state and not get sucked into it. So the process of the anxiety coming up was actually part of the healing process for her.
Yeah.
To release some patterns that have been there from a point of more strength and observation. And some people leave my office with more pain than when they come in. And I say, I'm the only chiropractor where people leave with more pain and they still come back. And what happens is that people recognize that somewhere in there, there's true healing. So somebody may be having pain because they're in the wrong relationship.
Yeah.
Somebody has this, the clearer their spine gets, the louder the pain becomes to tell the person, you're in the wrong job.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong relationship. Now that is your body's wisdom trying to tell you something. Your body's on your side. Your body is on your side. It's not creating the pain to bug you.
Right.
So when we start listening to pain and symptoms from a point of there's intelligence behind here,
Right.
then it becomes an opportunity for growth as opposed to a mechanical object that I'm trying to eliminate things from.
Yeah.
So it's a more holistic view.
Yeah, and what you're saying reminds me of something that I've often found and even reflected for myself, that oftentimes we have an adversarial relationship to the body. It's like, why are you doing this to me? You know, why are you heavier than I want you to be? Why are you hurting? What, you know, and we want to fix it. And so what you're saying is the opposite. It's like your body's your ally. Your body's not lying to you. It's giving you a wealth of information. You just need to listen.
Yes. But that's cultural.
Yeah, it is.
And we're trying to change that because, you know, there's no money.
Right.
in big pharmaceuticals and in hospitals if people don't have symptoms.
Right.
But that's another topic.
That is another topic. So before we run out of time, I want to do two things. I want to ask you about your new practice, the Box on the Wall Chiropractic Office, if you'll tell us what that means.
Yes, so there's a movement within chiropractic called a box on the wall practice. And what that means is that there's literally a box on the wall, there's no insurance. And people pay what they can or what they want. So there's usually a range. It's called anonymous payment or honor system.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes away a little bit of the, oh, I can't see a chiropractor. Well, I don't have insurance, or my insurance won't cover it, or I don't have the money. It's like, listen, we just want to serve.
Yeah.
We want to help you and your family to be under chiropractic care because we believe that there is healing here for you.
Right.
And you say, okay, so you can afford $25 for an adjustment, just leave it in the box, get down, get adjusted, tell others.
Yeah.
And then the understanding is that other people can pay $70, $100 for an adjustment because they see the value in it and they can afford it. So it's kind of like a community support system. So, and it's a lot of trust too.
I was just going to say that it requires a lot of trust. Obviously, a trust that the people are gonna follow the honor system, but also as a practitioner, it requires a lot of faith that this is going to work out for you. So,
well, I believe that I have a gift to offer, and I believe that people appreciate what I do and recognize it, and that they will support me.
Yeah.
The only way I can do it is if I'm supported. So I believe that I will be provided for.
Absolutely.
A lot of chiropractors do this all the time.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is that that's an affirmation. You know, you're rehearsing it. Of course, it's going to happen. So the other thing that I wanted to be sure to touch on was how to reach you. If somebody wants to come to your Box on the Wall office or just find out more about your practice, your website is rushfordchiropractic.com. And I know we have that on a slide, so we'll show it to our viewers. But what else do you feel you would love to share before we're done? Is there anything that's, and there it is, rushfordchiropractic.com is the website where our viewers can find you. So anything else, Julieta?
I would like to share that we're all here for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I believe that healing is possible. And I want to do my part with my gifts to help others, just like you are doing your part in healing others.
Yeah. And that the healing and, you know, we were talking about alignment, that when you're moving more into alignment with your purpose, with being in harmony in your life, in all dimensions of your life, then healing, it's like, I don't know what comes first, what the chicken or the egg, you know, does the physical healing happen?
It's probably both.
It's both, right? Yeah. So that physical healing and alignment with your purpose, being happier in your life, being more at peace.
Well, it's hard to have others be happy around you if you're not. So as you develop happiness, joy, peace within yourself, it will radiate out to your family and community. So the more selfish you are, right, for taking care of yourself, the more you can offer others. But it's really hard to give to others when you're empty.
Right. It is really hard to give to others when you're empty. I was, today is the day of quotes because I'm remembering another quote, and I'm really bad at remembering who it was from, but saying that if you don't take care of yourself, what you'll have to give to others is what's left of you. And if you can, instead of getting what's best of you. So,
I advocate for people to, do regular chiropractic care, regular yoga, basic health things.
Right.
And as your tank is full, then you can give to others from abundance as opposed to from lack, which creates resentment, and then you have to go and treat all that.
Right. So they get the best of you instead of what's left of you. Thank you so much, Julieta. This has been such a joyful experience.
Gracias.
Gracias a ti. And thank you so much for joining us. I am sure you were just as delighted with Dr. Julieta Rushford as I was. And I look forward to having you the next time. Take care.